Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and I like to craft stuff, and today I have been inspired by Book Talk on TikTok. There are several accounts that do rebinding of books to be hardcover and like their own special designs. Beautiful, beautiful done. Most of them use Cricut machines. I'm not going to be going out and getting a Cricut machine. Anyway, so the accounts that I wanted to, that kind of show how they do it are M's at, I think it's we.ems on TikTok. And then there is Sydney at Sydney Kerr. So I'll link their accounts down below. We are going to be binding or rebinding some books. So if you want to stay tuned. I also do quilting stuff, so if you're normally a watcher of those, you don't feel like sticking around for this one, that makes sense. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, let's get started. So I did pick up some of the supplies that they told me to pick up, and then other things I rooted around my house to see if I could have something that was good enough to use. So the supplies that I got are, it looks like muslin, super muslin. This is going to go on the edge of the books as it shows in the picture. So I picked up one of these. I got a whole pack. There was probably two. They're bookbinding pieces is what it says on here. There was something else that it was, the Book Talk was calling them, but I got these. They're for like the inside to hide the edges of the muslin. And then I got a specific glue. I got PVA glue, pH neutral, because that was what was specified. You can see here, I have not done this yet, so I'm so excited. And we'll see how badly these turned out. Now they're going to turn out great. So natural PVA glue. I got this really thick postery board. Well, it's not really, really thick. Kind of thick postery board. This one was $5. It was massive, so I'm hoping I can use it for all the books. And then I got paper. These were each $5, $5 to $6 each. They're massive. So they should cover, these will be for the inside. Each one should be enough for at least 3 books. So I could choose one paper design for the set of 3 books that I have here. And then the other one for the other set that I was going to do. They're not very thick. They're not as thick as some of the other ones. I just rewatched one of the videos and she said she used cardstock, which are a little bit thicker than these. These are very thin, but I think it'll work out okay. Fingers crossed. And then because it's TikTok, they don't say all of the things. They didn't say the fabrics that they used. I pulled out some that I thought would go. So I didn't do nearly the pre-planning that a lot of book talkers do for their books. So a lot of them have like coordinated designs, and when I picked out these papers, I just wasn't thinking about it. And now that I have them, I think they'll work fine. I think they're lovely. But could I have picked something better to match what's in the content of the books? Probably. But we're going to make do with what we have because we're in a Great Depression right now and Laura doesn't have a lot of money. So I pulled out some fabrics from my stash that I think will be good. So let's go into the books that I'm going to be doing. So I have a lot of books on my bookshelf that have been read, that are paperbacks that I would like to be hardcover, like some classics and some other things. But I chose these books first because they're the ones that I wanted mostly to be redone. So first off, we have The Long Winter. It's already missing its cover. It's this whole series that is falling apart. And this is my aunt's copy that my cousins would read when they were growing up. My set is lost. I think my mom might have it, but we don't actually know. So I have my aunt's copies, but they're falling apart and she got new copies herself. So I'm thinking I'll just rebind these. I was thinking that this paper for these books and then this fabric, because it feels very prairie-like. So that's what I was thinking for that one. And then the other series that is a beloved series is His Dark Materials. And so we've got the Golden Compass, Subtle Knife, and Amber Spyglass. And I was thinking this fabric, I found at Goodwill. It is a little thin, which has me nervous, but I think it'll be okay. It's got like gold in the plaid. It's beautiful. So I was thinking that for this one, and then maybe this paper, or we've got this paper. I think I like the pink one better. They're just like little leaves. So, and then because like I started out, most of the cover designs they do are through the Cricut machine, and I looked them up, and like the smaller ones were like $150. I'm not gonna go buy a Cricut machine for this project. I'm sure they're super helpful. So instead I went digging through my craft supplies, and I pulled out some fabric pens. I pulled out some paint markers. These are oil-based paint markers. I pulled out, these are more fabric pens. We got gold and silver. Pulled out some Sharpies, and I pulled out some fabric paints. Although I guess this one's not a fabric paint. So we've got fabric paints here and acrylic, just regular acrylic here, in both gold and white. So we've got a lot of different options for how we're gonna do the covers. I'm thinking of writing out after it's been put on, rather than before, because I've watched a few, and once they're on the books, they can get a little wonky, and I feel like that would be better. But also because it takes forever for the glue to dry, and I'm probably going to be doing like cutting them out in batches, so I won't know whose cover is which necessarily, although I might have to signify because the sizes of these books are different. So that is the plan. I feel like I should start with this copy. That way if anything goes wrong, it was already pretty banged up. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this works out as planned, and I get some lovely rebound books. So thank you so much for listening to my long intro. I don't know that I'll be walking all the steps all the way through, mainly because this is my first time trying to bookbind, and but also because I know how they turned out. They didn't turn out the best. They didn't turn out the worst, but they didn't turn out the best. So if you want real tutorials, I would definitely check out the accounts I mentioned earlier in the video. I'll have them linked down below. Sydney has a YouTube channel, and so you can also watch them on YouTube. I did have issues with the papers. I was originally giving way too much extra room for them around the edges, and I had to stop doing that when I was cutting them out because things weren't the same sizes. But also when I didn't film this, but later on I go and I do other of the books that were taped together, so I actually had to glue down page by page and let that settle in. So the PVA glue though is quite strong, and I would recommend. So I have to leave this to set for 24 hours. Also, I did a really terrible job. So I was rewatching some of the how-to videos, and I really should have only done it about this, like, very, like, that much. But I did the whole thing. I'm not super concerned about this book. But I wanted to hop on to say that I discovered that I had some missing materials. So one of them is cardstock. I have poster board and like a thicker cardboard for the cover and the spine, but there needs to be cardstock to help the joints, and so I don't have that, and I don't want to spend money, so I'm just going to use my recycling. I think that this will work. Like, it's thin enough, but it's sturdy enough for the spine. However, the one ingredient that I think I'm going to have to change is my fabric, especially this one. I'm going to try with the other one for Little House on the Prairie, but for the other one, I really think that this fabric is too thin. It turns out they're using specifically fabric that's thicker and meant for bookbinding and not just random cotton that they have lying around. So, so I think I'm gonna go run and grab. Okay, I'm back from my excursion, and I have discovered that I can use this fabric like I wanted to in the first place, but what I have to do is use paper and wheat paste to put paper on the back of this. So I have some flour that I borrowed from a friend because I don't have flour in my house, and basically I'm going to do the paper and the wheat pasting before we glue it to the cardboard for the hardcover of the book. And this whole process of what I'm doing, where it's fabric the entire way, I learned is called is the library way, because a lot of libraries will do this exact same process, but for also trade paperbacks for the library that are falling apart, probably like this one. And so they do this whole process to keep the books. So I am very excited. I think that the changes that I've made will work. I also went and I picked up the 3 yards of this fabric from Joann's, because I did go and look for fabrics that would work. I didn't really find any. I should have maybe gotten a pink fabric that was like this, but this one just spoke to me. It was so pretty. And so I got 3 yards because I'd like to have it as the cover for all of the books in this series. And there's like 7 or 8 books. Is it 8 or is it 9? I don't remember. There's a lot of books in this series, so having them all as the same fabric cover, I just think will look so pretty. So one thing I will say, I did it out of order, is I did this before. I was so excited about doing this part that I didn't trace the book onto the cardboard, so I can't prepare this book's cover just yet. So we're going to move on to preparing the covers for these before I rip off the covers and do the spine treatment the way that I've been doing. That's this check-in. I think that's a good starting point, is measuring out the cardboard first, and then using the cardboard, probably we can measure out the fabric pieces for these books and get these sewn onto the plaid. All right, getting to work. I am checking in. This project has been a bit of a struggle for trying to substitute supplies and also being the first time trying to do this. I just really don't want to have to be stuck to the bookbinding clause of like, there's only 5 colors online. There's a little bit more than that, but this is the result of the wheat pasting, and I don't think it necessarily came through. I think the problem was I wasn't paying attention and it was on the cardboard that I was using when I was pasting. But, well, all of them have it though, so I don't know. It's really gross looking. I don't know how much you can see on camera, but it's discolored and gross. So wheat pasting did not work for me. I mean, I guess I could bind. I just think it's gonna look disgusting with all the wheat pasting all over the place. So I went online and I looked at bookbinding clause, and that's $40, and I don't want to spend they're $10 each per book, and I have 4 books that I'm trying to do. I was saying I didn't want to spend $40 on the bookbinding cloths, because that starts to add up when I have all of these books that I do want to do. Like, I'm so far having fun in the process, but I will say, if you have ADHD and you're like, ooh, bet I could do this, maybe stick to the exact supplies for your first round. That being said, am I getting book cloth? No, I'm getting iron-on adhesive backing. But there was a comment that said that it works really well for bookbinding, and then also it was, I think it was $10 for 17 inches by 5 yards. 5 yards. So this is going to last me, if it works, multiple books. Like a lot more than the book cloths buying would. So I need to tell you the why I was putting paper on the back of fabrics, and that is to keep the glue from seeping through. The bookbinding fabric needs to be thicker with a little bit of paper on the back, and so that is why I tried at first wheat pasting and then getting the iron-on adhesive. Number 2, I was having major issues with writing out the title of the books, and I also don't even know if I like the black box idea anymore. I had gotten it because of the print. I thought it would be too much. I was continuing to record, and this is my second time recording this part, and I was talking about how I thought about getting stencils. I thought about printing out or finding specific calligraphy, but while I was on pause trying to figure out why my camera wasn't working, I took 2 seconds to try just a Sharpie in the lines of the plaid. And honestly, I kind of love it. It's simple. It's simple. I like it. We'll see if that works when the adhesive comes in. Like, I'm not going to do that now, obviously, and I'm not using this fabric. I'm going to have to recut. I'm going to have to recut. But that's coming in the mail. So I'm going to take a little pause so I don't lose my mind. For you, it'll be 2 seconds. Okay.
No way.
So I do ultimately like the way that they turned out, but I definitely don't think I did the best job, specifically with measurements and making sure everything lined up. But also in one of the clips, I show me gluing down or trying to glue down the spine to the hardcover, and you definitely don't want to do that. I don't know why I was doing that. And then things got a little wonky on the inside as well, and I think that was because of measurement issues. However, I do like the way that they turned out. There was some bleeding in the fabric with the Sharpies, but that's okay. Again, these are my copies and they're for me. And luckily, these specific copies are not my original. I'm showing you that there's a gap in in my books. I was giving extra space to like make it look better, I guess, and I think I gave too much space, unfortunately. So the Little House on the Prairie series I did do also. I just didn't film a lot of it, and I corrected those mistakes. So they're a lot closer. They're not perfect. They're still not perfect, but they're a lot closer to the sizes that they were supposed to be. Because of the Sharpie bleeding issues, I only numbered the edge of the spine, so at least I could know it from the bookshelf. But I didn't actually write the title on the cover. And again, these books are for me, so ultimately it doesn't really matter that much. But they are definitely in much better condition, and I would say of the sets that I just did, the Little House on the Prairie series is definitely better in terms of like my accomplishment of the set and having it look nice. I do want to recommend two nonfiction books about Indigenous history, since we're talking about Little House on the Prairie. So if you wanted to learn more history that was not really taught in schools, I would recommend An Indigenous People's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz, and then Empire of the Summer Moon by S.C. Gwynne. I'm going to go ahead and list the titles down below as well, just as recommendations if you want to learn more about that period of time. Ultimately, I'm happy with these books. I'm happy that they're readable and in better conditions, and ultimately, they look nice on my bookshelves. And that was the goal. So, goal accomplished. I don't know that I'm ever going to become a professional bookbinder. I have so much respect for the creators who do this on a regular basis, and I hope you check them out. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay tuned for an announcement. Just so that everybody knows, I do post every other Tuesday, or I try to. So if you want, like and subscribe. And then, very exciting news, I am going to be launching a Patreon sticker club. So this is, you're watching me pull apart my very, very, very first sticker that I've ever made. And that'll actually be only for the first 20 people that sign up. So my Patreon will be $10 a month, and every month you get a sticker. The next sticker is going to be this painting that I did of a hike that I went on recently. So that'll be the main sticker. But the first 20 people who sign up will actually be getting the tulips and the vase as well. So that's just a special bonus for signing into my Patreon. Of course, not mandatory. Thank you again, everyone who's been watching my videos and supporting me on this journey. I have been having a blast, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.